Brittany with Danis Dreams, and I am out here again at Sugar Creek Township Park in New Palestine, Indiana at the Danis Dreams Outdoor Education Trail. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that is always out. It is very large, 1 billion Earths fit inside of it, and the temperature inside of it is more than 15 million degrees Celsius. Can you guess what it is? It is the sun, yes, and we are going to go take a look at it today and some facts about the sun. So let's go. Hey everybody, let's take a look at the sun's rays in action. I've been walking a little bit and already the sun's rays are making me very warm. In fact, it takes about 8 minutes for the sun's rays to reach us from outer space, and there's a lot of power in those rays, so let's talk about that. All right, let's talk about UV rays. So if you have a flashlight at home and you have a ball of some sort, I want you to get it and shine the flashlight onto that ball. And I want you to see, where is the light the strongest? Where is it more concentrated? In the center? That is correct. And so on our Earth, it would be at the equator. It is more concentrated, and thus we have more green, lush jungles, and the heat is more intense. Where in the North Pole, it is more spread out and less intense. And so we can harness that energy in different ways. And so we're going to talk about that. How do humans use the sun's rays? Here is the sign on solar power here at Danis Dreams Nature Trail, and this is talking about renewable energy using the sun, and that is solar panels.
Danis Dreams Outdoor Education Center. Solar energy! Hi, I'm Sarah reporting from Danis Dreams Outdoor Education Center.
Did you know we have a free, clean source of warmth and light every day? It's important that we all learn about solar energy and how we can take care of our world by being smart and using our natural resources wisely.
More on solar energy! How does solar energy work at the Go Green Center?
My Uncle Dave just installed solar panels on the Danis Dream Go Green Discovery Center. So how does solar work at the Go Green Center?
Well, Sarah, with the solar panels that we've just installed, we've got a little more construction yet to do in here, but you can see this is the input from the solar panels, and it's putting out 22.1 volts. We're going to connect that, the solar panels will be connected to a charge controller. From the charge controller will come down and we'll connect 2 more wires to the batteries. The charge controller, basically what it does is it keeps the batteries from overcharging. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to damage the batteries. And then from the batteries, we'll supply what we call an inverter. Coming to an inverter, it takes 12 volts DC and it'll turn the DC into 120 volts AC. Now 120 volts AC is what your house runs on. So it'd be just like having 120 volts AC in your house. We can run TVs. In fact, we're going to install 2 lights in here, and we're also going to have a TV with a DVD player so we can show videos about solar energy and other types of neat stuff that we do here at Danis Dreams.
Thanks, Uncle Dave. Now, why is solar energy so important?
Well, solar energy is a renewable energy, which basically means that it's not going to run out. As long as the sun's shining, we're going to have energy coming from the sun. So when you look at this, 22 volts coming off the panels to recharge the batteries, it's going to happen all the time. Unlike fossil fuels is a finite source of energy. When we burn fossil fuels, we pollute the air, and sooner or later, over time, it's going to run out.
Thank you.
That makes more sense. The sun will always give us energy as long as it's shining. The energy goes to the panels, then through the wires for electricity, so we can have lights, television, and much more. Thanks so much for solar energy, because fossil fuels could run out in time. Solar panels!
Okay, so here we go. We're doing our sun prints, and what's going to happen when we take away our toys, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, one more minute and then we'll check it out. All right, Genevieve, go ahead and take off your, look at that, and take off your dinosaurs. Whoa, that's awesome. Yeah. George showed him the objects on the table outside in the sun. When the man tried to use his phone, though, it still wasn't charged. George was confused. He reached for the batteries that had been sitting in the sun. Ouch, they were very hot. That's not how solar power works, George. The sun can't charge the batteries like this, but it can make things hot, especially when it reflects off something shiny. Since the phones still didn't work, George took a note from the man to Professor Wiseman at the museum. When he got there, he was very hot. Back again, George, she asked, in this heat? She read the note and told George, ask him to bring his lasagna over at 6 o'clock. As she wrote down the time on the note, George noticed something different about Professor Wiseman's car. Those are solar panels, George. They convert the sun's rays to electric power. Remember, she said. Of course, George had forgotten about solar panels when he set the phone out in the sun. Now he remembered. The sun shines on the solar panels. The panels turn the sun's rays into energy, and the batteries store that energy. Hey, want to ride home in a solar car? Boy, did he. It would sure beat walking in this heat. When George and Professor Wiseman pulled up to George's building, they startled Hundley and the doorman. I didn't even hear the car drive up, exclaimed the doorman. That's because solar-powered engines are quiet. See you tonight, George, called Professor Wiseman as she drove away. George gave the note to the man with the yellow hat. 6 o'clock, he said. If I put it in the oven now, it'll be ready in plenty of time. The man put the lasagna in the oven and turned on the heat. But a minute later, the oven shut off again. So did the fan, the radio, and the lights. Another blackout, said the man. George, the oven is electric. My lasagna won't cook. I'd better warn Professor Wiseman that we may be late, or worse, lasagna-less, he said. But the phone was still dead. He'd forgotten to put it back on the battery charger again. There's no way to cook without power, the man said, as he set the uncharged phone down again. Or was there? George noticed the sun reflecting off his toy spaceship and remembered something his friend had said earlier. The sun can make things very hot if it's reflected off a shiny surface. That gave George an idea. He pointed his spaceship so the sun reflected off of it into the man's eyes. George, that reflected sun is bright, he said, and hot. But then he realized what George was trying to tell him. They could use the heat of the sun to cook the lasagna. George, you may be a genius, the man exclaimed. They found a pizza box from one of the last week's dinners at Chef Seghetti's restaurant. A pizza box keeps pizza warm, so it will trap the heat, the man said as he began to cut a flap into the top of the box. We'll need a hole to let the sun in. The man continued to give instructions to build their solar-powered oven. Glue on some plastic wrap to keep the heat from getting out, he said, and shiny aluminum foil to direct the sun's heat into the box. Once that was done, they placed the lasagna inside the pizza box and brought it outside. Angle the top so that the sun hits the lasagna, George, the man said. If the power comes back on, we can put it in the oven, but if it doesn't, I think this will cook. At 6 o'clock that evening, guests arrived at the museum. It was the only building in the whole city with electricity. George and the man with the yellow hat arrived with a special birthday lasagna. Professor Wiseman gasped as they opened the pizza box. "It's hot," she exclaimed. "Thank goodness the surprise isn't ruined." Inside, all the guests sat at a long table to celebrate both the museum's solar power and Dr. Levitt's birthday. Now the lasagna would be even more of a surprise since the whole city had been without power for cooking. "Oh my," Dr. Levitt said when she saw the steaming lasagna. "How did you cook it during the blackout?" "We made a solar cooker," the man said. "Thank George and the sun." Dr. Levitt was thrilled. It was a wonderful surprise. Nothing could make this birthday more special than a solar lasagna. Just so you know, the things that are happening in this book can actually happen in real life. If you're interested in doing some experiments, I'm going to go ahead and pause here on this page for you to pause this video and to do these experiments dealing with the sun. And in the book, he did make a solar oven out of a pizza box, and you can actually build your own solar oven. Again, I'm going to go ahead and pause on this page so you can screenshot this if you'd like to do this at home. And last but not least, here we have a sundial. Take a look at the sun. All things you can do easily with things around your house. And then here's some words to know. So if you're working with vocabulary with your young one there you go. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this book on solar power and Curious George. Have a good day. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, hiding behind that tree. These little children are asking you, please come out so we can play with you. Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, shine your light on me. There you go. I hope you have enjoyed today's eco lesson on the sun. This is just a reminder that the sun is shining all of the time, but to get out and enjoy it when you can.